again. I don't know how long it's been since you watched the last video. Last week on Earned Happy Endings. No, we're not doing that. See, it's comedy week, and therefore you're stuck with my very lame jokes. Sorry about that. Anyways, welcome back. Let's get down to business, where we talk about Knick Knack. It's the heat of the summer, so talking about poor snowmen trapped in snow globes seems appropriate. Except I have a contentious relationship with the protagonist of Knick Knack that many people have argued with me about. Anyways, you'll see. I don't find him to be very sympathetic, but other people might. So, anyways, that's why talking about pop culture stuff is fun. We can argue about things a little bit more. So let's forego that for now and dive into the academic work in front of us. So, while the Pixar team did do a cartoon called Andre and Wally B, remember that one? No one asked me to do it, so it's gonna remain a mystery until you do, or until I get bored one day. So, Andre and Wally B for Lucasfilm in 1984. Their first kind of complete comedic short was Knick Knack, which was released in 1989. So if you remember, Luxo Jr. and Tintoy both did have jokes within them, and Red's Dream even had the falling gag where they actually used the cartoon physics. Those films had kind of grander purposes than just making you laugh. They function a bit more like the Pixar features, which use a lot of comedy to make them entertaining and to add appeal, but they have kind of bigger goals. Knick Knack doesn't really do that. Knick Knack stays with the comedic goal of just making you laugh, unless you really, really feel for snowmen. Which if you do, good on you. Good way to love everybody. So anyway, the laughs in those films are kind of bonuses that add to each film's charm and help to define the characters, but they also point to the importance of Pixar mastering comedy, because in order to make those work and not be distracting, they need to be really masterfully done. And so Knick Knack is a very good testing ground to practice that so they can use it in smaller formats in the features. We're going to talk about this again when we talk about using the Pixar shorts within the features. These are really awesome practice grounds to do even more incredible things in the features. So if you think about the Up montage, or Jesse's songs from Toy Story 2, or a number of sequences from Inside Out, those were formats practiced in the features. Not just as important are these comedic moments. Knick Knack helps the Pixar artists practice that skill, since it is the first film which is where the exclusive goal is to make people laugh. So Lasseter did admit this. I'm not reducing anything. He said this when he talks about in the commentary how after Tintoy, because that was a huge undertaking for the studio, they wanted to take a break, and so they decided to handle a more traditional cartoon evocative of Warner Brothers Looney Tunes. Pixar has this really great luxury where that because, especially when they started, they did not have ties to Disney. Even though Disney now owns them, they were an independent entity. So they didn't have to honor that legacy. So they can say that they are just as much influenced by Warner Brothers as they are by Walt Disney without any harm to come to them, so they can be a better fusion piece. So the biggest lesson that kind of came out of an experiment like Knick Knack is that it's an example of goal-oriented story structure, which you see again and again in the Pixar canon. And the basic concept, like you hopefully saw, is that there is this snowman trapped in a snow globe who wants to get out and join the happier figures from sunnier locales on the other side of the shelf that he sits on. And the entertainment comes from his increasingly ludicrous attempts to get out of the snow globe and to go join them. So it doesn't have the emotional complexity that Luxo Jr. and Tintoy have, but it's funny and it's complete, and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this kind of structure of conflict resolution will be repeated and expanded upon in the subsequent films, both comedic and dramatic, like I said. So let's dive into the actual content of the film beyond the kind of bigger picture stuff. So before anything visual is introduced, we get the music. So just over the credits, we get this really lighthearted, original Bobby McFerrin track. It's mostly a cappella, and it's the simple repetition of one phrase. But the most important thing is that it's happy and tropical. And so the reason behind this is twofold. First, it provides amusing juxtaposition for the snowman. Literally everything around him is sunny except for his world. And then it is also a reminder at every point of what he wants in the film. So if we get too distracted by him trying to get out of the snow globe and forget why he is doing that, we have this track behind us to remind us of the ultimate goal of the piece. It's really important tonally. So this film is always happy. It never goes dark like Red's Dream, or it doesn't even contain moments of tragedy like Luxo Jr. when he deflates. So it's important for differentiating it from the other shorts, because it's always happy and doesn't try for something darker. And so later comedic shorts will kind of stretch this principle, but for now, this film has an unvarying tone. And using the music, we know that at every point, all we should want to do is laugh. We should never want to cry over the snowman. Again, like I joked about, contentious issue, but I believe you should never want to do anything but laugh at the snowman. So, after the song starts, and we see the title card, the happy world is introduced first. And so it is a montage of Knick Knacks, hence the title, collected from various sunny and warm locations, and they all kind of bob along to the music, and they all wear sunglasses. I really should have brought some for this. It is an introduction to the world of the shelf, including subtly showing off its dimensions, like the establishment of the living room in Toy Story, so we know exactly the world we're working with. And it also, this particular group of knickknacks is obnoxiously happy, and so we will understand that in a second when we get to see the juxtaposition of the snowman. But for now, it's just kind of cute and fun and silly, and we haven't been exposed to it long enough to be kind of irritated at how happy this group is. So the song is catchy as well, and kind of, you just have this entire relaxed feel to the short. This is my gift to you. If you can't find a beat, you can just watch the first 12 seconds of Knick Knack. I have no idea if it's 12 seconds. It's been a while since I actually timed it out. So the sequence also lets the audience know that this is another film about inanimate objects brought to life, which is kind of, at this point, all Pixar has done, and is a kinder way of saying that is it's a consistent pattern at this point in Pixar history. So at this point, every film has had a protagonist who is an object brought to life, and nowadays, when it's not just John Lasseter helming these films, we've seen different types of protagonists, but at this point, this is the Pixar brand. And so after the sunny figures are introduced, we get its first gag, which is the wide shot of the entire happy group, followed by a rapid, that would make for a far different film, rapid track right to show the snow globe from Alaska, all alone at his end of the shelf with a grumpy looking snowman inside. And so we get a laugh from the extreme juxtaposition of the two ends of the shelf, and the misfortune of the poor snowman stuck where he is. So the greetings from Alaska decal on the snow globe is another joke that capitalizes on the contrast of the happy and the grumpy, and makes a joke of the ignorance of the human world to the snowman's plight, we as humans don't think of him as a live figure, and so we wouldn't think of him being jealous of the other figures, and we would think that as a snowman, he enjoys being from Alaska. Why wouldn't he be excited to be from Alaska? So, since he is not assumed to be alive, like I said, the Oscan humans make light of his suffering and show that the entire world is actually fixed against him. There's nobody who really understands the snowman and his plight. So, the medium close-up of the snowman's face that follows this introduction is really key to the rest of the film. So if Luxo Jr. and Red's Dream did not use faces, or in the case of Lumpy, kind of barely use faces, Knick Knack makes one face in particular its expressive focal point for the entire film. So this is keeping with traditional animation. For Luxo and Red, that was really unusual, that they were identifiable without faces. That was, like, huge and distinctive and awesome. But normally they do. And the traditional Disney shorts had all their characters with faces, and as Bob Thomas explains, quote, large expressive eyes gave a character a winning personality, end quote, and that, quote, until a character becomes a personality, it cannot be believed, end quote. So while Lasseter managed to give characters personality without facial features, Thomas reminds us of the potential and historical precedent for using faces for character identification. We see this a bit in Tintoy as well. So the snowman is evidence of this concept. At a basic level, the snowman's face is amusing, and one eye is bigger than the other, and his mouth is just a string of loosely connected charcoal bits. And so it's another thing for him to be grumpy about. For the animators, it's a face ripe with possibility. There are many moving parts. You can do a lot of different things. It's easy and fun to manipulate. And you get a lot of his expression out of his eyebrows. So that's where the fun comes in for the animators, and there's also a joke that he's kind of a poorly made snowman, so it's like the humans don't understand him, like his creators didn't understand him, just everything is working against this guy. So this is all in stark juxtaposition with the Sunny characters, whose faces are painted on, and who their potential for expressive eyes is masked by the sunglasses. And so this helps identify the snowman as the most interesting character of this group, because he has the most expressive features, and also therefore the most distinctive personality. And so in this initial shot, he's glaring at the Sunny group, his eyebrows are straight, and he is frowning, and his glare is key. If he were staring at them longingly or crying about being alone, it would change the tone of the film. He would be an unlovable outsider that we have an emotional investment in rooting for, but instead he's just a silly-looking kind of antagonist who is jealous of the Sunny figures. So we will align with him because he is the most interesting and therefore the most fun to watch, but we will not sympathize with him. He embodies too much negativity, and he is too mean to root for. So that's kind of the introduction to Knick Knack. I'm going to take a small break and come back and talk about his goal and the actions he takes to achieve that goal. But I'm going to give you a breather, and then we're going to come right back.